Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we back, baby. It's another edition of the Leo G Show, man, and we are back for another edition. This is episode 47. And man, am I excited to talk about tonight's topic. Because we got this tonight's topic is gonna be straight up just one topic. We're gonna talk about one thing and one thing only because it deserves a lot of attention, man. It's the Leo G Show, man. We talk about Atlanta sports. That's what we do. It's from a fan's perspective. It's from a fan's perspective, man. That's what we do. So without further ado, man, I can't do this without my co-host, man, the people that's been riding with me, man. I gotta give a shout out to none other than the man with the plan, one of the fan favorites, man, my man Banks over there, man. What's going on, Banks, man? You muted.
My apologies, my sir, but how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. How about you, Banks? You ready to get into the show tonight, man? What's
Man,
up?
I'm ready to get into it, man. I got lots to say.
I know you do, man. I know you do, man. It's the get off your chest episode. That's what we're gonna call this, man. You gotta get it off your chest. Definitely gonna, like I said, it's gonna be one topic only, and we're gonna get really, really into it, man. So tonight, man, Banks, we're gonna wait a minute. Hold on. So look, we got somebody in the building tonight, man. Look, the third party in this podcast has now returned. The man has finally returned to be in the. My man Derico, look at it. My man Derico is back to be a part of the Leo G Show, man. What's going on, Derico?
What's happening, Leo?
Man,
You know.
man. You are back because I told you I was gonna drop you from the marquee. I really was, man. We would consider being Banks had a conversation about dropping you from the marquee because I'm like, man, he just forgot about us, man. He moved on to bigger and better things. He don't want to deal with us no more, man. So I was gonna drop you from the marquee, man. I really was.
I appreciate you holding on to me, Doc. You know, life things happen, so you got to take care of them things, man. But tonight is on and it's on and popping.
Hey man, that's what's up, man. For real, glad to have you back, man. Happy birthday, belated birthday, man. We also, we gave you the shout outs while I told everybody you were celebrating your birthday at a remote location, man. Doing your thing. We celebrated a little bit at the Eagles game, just a little bit, man. But I'm pretty sure, man, we'll get up a little later on and do it some more because that's what we do, man. So look, fellas, we're here tonight. We're gonna get into this episode, man, because this is a good one. I think a lot of people are probably going to be ready to hear what we got to say about the topic tonight, man. But first and foremost, man, before we get into it, man, I want to give a couple of shout outs, man. I want to give a shout out really quickly to my man. I got to give a shout out to my man, Reggie McKee. Shout out to my man Reggie McKee from Footy Mob, man, doing his thing with Gold Food over there, man. Who's a big supporter of the show, man. So I can't never forget about him, man. So shout out to him. Shout out to our illustrious supporters group with the Atlanta United Footy Mob. We're all members. Shout out to them. There it is. Y'all know what it is. Also, man, I want to give a big shout out, man, to my brother. My brother is my brother-in-law, but I call him my brother, man. I want to give a shout out to my brother Walter Stiff. Man, big news, man. He was just named by Forbes magazine as one of the top next gen wealth advisors. Doing big things. Former NFL player, moved into the financial sector, man, and now he's doing really, really big things over there. He's a financial advisor. Um, he's doing it really, really big, man. I really, really applaud guys that make the transition from professional sports into other careers because it's not easy. It's not easy. And then to be in the position that he is now, being named by Forbes as one of the next top gen financial advisors, man, it's a great thing, man. So I want to give a big shout out to my brother, man, Walter Stiff, man, for doing that, man. I'm gonna try to put a link in the episode comments if you guys want to check out the article about my brother, man. So that's what's up, man. So without further ado, man, we're gonna really, really get into it. And this episode is gonna be the Get It Off Your Chest episode. We're gonna talk about this whole episode is gonna be dedicated to none other than our Atlanta Falcons. Really, really quickly before we start and get onto this topic, I'm gonna go around the room. I guess we've been doing it, so we're gonna continue to do it. Talk about what we got on. Derek, I'm gonna go with you first, man. You knew what we were gonna come with this topic, man. So what you got on tonight?
Hey, I had to represent my new number one WR1 Ridley, so I got on 18 today, baby, in the all white. That's who I'm repping today.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Repping the 18, the Calvin Ridley. That's what's going on. So Banks, I don't know, man. You look like you coming into this podcast tonight ready. I don't know. You got the all black on, man. Tell everybody what you got on today.
I'm repping Georgia Bulldogs. It's a little small logo, but I had to throw them out there playing Vanderbilt on Saturday at 12 o'clock. Shout out to the Bulldogs. Woof, woof, woof. It's just real simple. I kept it real simple today, Leo.
Hey, man, shout out Dog Nation, man. That's what's up, man. The dogs are doing their thing, man. Definitely, man, on the up and up. We'll definitely have to come back to another podcast and revisit what they're doing over there at Georgia. Also, man, really quickly, I want to give a shout out to Derrico, man. You making your way around, man. If you want a shout out, I know you did a new venture. You were a guest on another show, man. So if you want to drop that, man, let the people know what you just did, man.
Hey, I'll put it out there at the end of the show. Can I do that? When I shout out everything else, so I can do it all at one time.
Okay.
I
Okay, you
appreciate
can.
that.
If that's what you want to
Yeah.
do, man. We'll leave it to the end of the show, and we'll really get into the meat of what we want to talk about. All right, so gentlemen, look, this is the Get It Off Your Chest episode, man. It's a lot of stuff going down, man. So tonight's episode is going to be dedicated to the Atlanta Falcons. This is the Atlanta Falcons episode. It's a lot of topics, a lot of stuff that we're going to try to discuss, and a lot of stuff that we're going to try to digest in this episode because we just got to get it out there, man. It's getting ugly. It's already been ugly, but it's getting kind of ugly as far as the conversations that are being had in this city, as far as the conversations being had amongst the fans. And as fans, I guess we're going to get it out there and we're going to talk about it, man, and kind of get some of this stuff out there and off our chest. So really quickly, man, I'm gonna go to you first, Banks. We're gonna talk about this past game, but how are you feeling now after the second week of football here with the Falcons? Um, how are you feeling before we break down this game, man? How are you feeling like as a fan about this franchise right now?
Well, first of all, I'm feeling normal, like it's even keel. Like I kind of expected this. Like I wasn't going into this season, blind and with these um, glitter and rainbow shades on, saying that we're going to be very optimistic. We're going to win. We're going to win games. No, we're not. I mean, we're talent deficient. I mean, you look at the roster top to bottom, it's a lot of those guys won't start behind a third. I mean, a second stringer. It's just not a good team. It's not because we're. I can't put my finger on it. They're not talented. And losing to Tampa Bay last week, losing to Tampa Bay, I mean, that was expected. I mean, I don't have a feeling about it. It was like I already had it up as an L. So I mean, you move on.
Derrico, you want to add anything to that, man? How do you feel about this team, man? After 2 weeks, man, of the season, man. How do you feel? How do you feel?
I feel absolutely numb in its own. It's by design. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not gonna set myself up this year. Like I really am taking a back seat of just letting things fall like they're gonna fall, so I don't get my hopes up, don't get my expectations up. So if anything shocks me, it's gonna be because it really shocked me, not because I thought it was gonna shock me. So that's how I feel
Defense,
about this team. You know what I'm saying?
we
So
got
now,
defense
yeah,
mechanism mode, right?
hey,
You just
all up, bro.
defense mechanism. So, all right, guys, let's get into it, man. Week 2 NFL, our Atlanta Falcons face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They go down to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, and it was I don't know, man. You could say it was a long day, but so Banks on the last episode. Let's discuss this for just a second. And Derrico will get your input, but on the last episode, Banks, we both gave predictions. Both of us said that the Falcons were going to take a hot L in this game in the Tampa. I want to say that my prediction was probably just a tad bit closer as to what the actually outcome was of this game. I did say that the Falcons were going to fight. I did say that the pride was going to take over and the Falcons were going to come in and try to show that they could compete. Okay, the score is the score. It kind of got out of hand. But I will say this: the Falcons did come out and try to compete just a tad bit, man. What do you say about my prediction, and how do you feel about the competitiveness that the Falcons showed for this game?
Well, you were right about your prediction. They did come out with a little bit more fight than I expected. They were down 21-10. It was ugly in the beginning. So actually, what you could say is we were both right, if you can say that. They played with heart, and then they got blown out too. So I mean, I look at it like, you're going up against the greatest quarterback of our era. The league is going to make sure that he is going to do what he wants to do. It was a lot of holding that I saw that wasn't called for Tampa. It was a lot of I saw offensive pass interference that was they're not going to dare call that for Tampa. But I mean, it is what it is, man. He's the token of the league right now. He is the greatest of all time. So what do? I mean, you're going up. You never beaten this guy, so I mean, you probably won't ever beat this guy. So
Yeah, well,
just go out and just take it
I
what
wouldn't
it
say
is, bro.
I wouldn't say that much, man. I wouldn't say that much that we'd never beat them. But yeah, as of right now, we've never beaten them. Tom Brady is undefeated against the Atlanta Falcons in his entire career, which is crazy because I don't think that has ever been done in the history of the NFL where you have a quarterback that is undefeated against a team in the modern era. I think you can go back all the way. I want to say I read somewhere in 1956 where a quarterback has never been undefeated against a team. And I know that Tom Brady has played in another division, and we've only matched up with them a couple, I want to say 9 or 10 times. Now that he's in our division, we're going to see them quite a bit. So this is the 9th time that Tom Brady actually beat the Atlanta Falcons. Banks, I know you said you had something that you wanted to add on to this, and then we're gonna get Derek
Um,
on this.
Falcons not the only team that he's undefeated. I think the Vikings never beaten him either. And it's another team. I think Tampa's never beaten him, but he plays for Tampa, so that doesn't really count. I don't know that it's 4 teams in the league that has never beaten Tom Brady. So we're not the only one. I think we're the only one with the most losses, but I don't think we are the only one that has never beaten him.
That is insane, man. Okay, Derek, so I'm gonna kick it over to you, man. Initial thoughts on the game, and then we'll do a kind of a deep dive into actually what happened with this 48-25 loss from my Atlanta Falcons, man. How do you feel, and what did you see out of the Falcons?
Well, as I was watching the game, of course, I'm like everybody was getting excited because the game was close, and I'm just like, it's just like a movie strip where they just want you to hold on long enough until the climax of the end and just blow up in your face, and then all hell just break loose. So me, the game, it was competitive the first three quarters and a half maybe, and then after that it just looked like all hell, like I said, just broke loose. But I was surprised that they kept it close so long. But I wasn't surprised at the outcome because we all knew what the outcome was going to be because we just don't have enough horses to run with that team. I mean, it's being said that that team is like one of the NBA mega
Super
teams. You
teams.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is at this point. So no, my expectations were very low for that game.
Yeah. I think all of our expectations were kind of low going into this, man. Really. So, I mean, this Tampa team, you go back and look at it, man, over the last decade or so, Tampa was really at a low point. And this is a team that has won a Super Bowl and has had some ebbs and flows to their franchise. You know what I'm saying? They were a very horrible team starting out initially in Tampa. Then they were able to get things together and turn things around and win a Super Bowl in the early 2000s under John Gruden. They had a great squad down there then with Warren Sapp, and you had Derek Brooks, and it was I want to say Rondé Barber. They had a good squad down there, and they won a Super Bowl against the Raiders back in the early 2000s. So then Tampa goes into like they almost just go into no man's land. In the NFC South, they end up becoming the doormat of the NFC South for almost 10 years. You can't say this was by design, but at some point, I want to say the ownership for Tampa and the management for Tampa said, you know what, man? I mean, we suck. We're bottom tier. It can't get any worse. It's got to go up from here. We start to see them recycle this. We start to see them recycle players players started to leave, money started to free up, and then all of a sudden, last year, we see them, you know, overnight. I mean, when they were building, they were. I can't say that. Let me say that they were building this team. They had some talent on the defensive side of the ball, but then they were able to free up a lot of money on the offensive side of the ball, and then all of a sudden, then we see, you know, TB12 come to Tampa. We see Gronkowski come. We see Antonio Brown that already had Mike Evans, and then they made themselves into like a perennial powerhouse, and then they win a Super Bowl. But like I said, for the better part of a decade, they sucked. They were horrible. Is this something like? So I'm gonna kick it over to you, Derek. Really first. We'll talk about this quickly. Was this by design, or at what point did Tampa say, you know what, man, let's just blow this whole thing up, recycle everything, free up a bunch of money, and then we can really make this work? Or was this just like lightning in the bottle? They just threw everything out there on the table and then this happened? Or was this by design? I guess that's my question.
I won't say it was by design. I just think they've always had good defensive pieces. I mean, that's the difference between their team GM drafting and our team GM drafting. They draft ball players. The only thing that they was having problems with is they picked the bad coach, they picked one or two bad quarterbacks. Not saying that the last one before Tom Brady was that bad, but I'm just going to say that was a core to issues. They've always had a good defense. They've always had a pretty good, solid offensive line. And I just think it wasn't a lightning in the bottle. They just got the right coach at the time, which was Bruce Arians. He brought a hella staff with him. I mean, he just put together probably the best staff in football right now. And
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And you put Tom Brady in the mix, I mean, you're going to have yourself something.
Absolutely. I mean, you brought in Todd Bowles as a defensive coordinator. You brought in, well, I don't know if you can really see Byron Leftwich. We talk about the degrees of separation from the Falcons. How crazy is that? Byron Leftwich was a quarterback with the Atlanta Falcons, not an offensive coordinator in Tampa. He's down there. And Bruce Arians, who has been a coach in the NFL for quite some time, actually retired and came back, was with the Arizona Cardinals, with a couple of other teams, of course, over his span of his coaching career. And like I said, they just, I don't know, right place, right time, whatever you want to call it. Banks, I'm going to kick it over to you. My question is, was this by design, Banks? Or how do you feel that Tampa just got back to this level? Because like I said, they were the doormat of the NFC South for over a decade, man. For over a decade, man. They were the whooping boys of the NFC South. We all knew that you could at least get 2 wins against Tampa for a long time. Even though, like Derek Cole alluded to and said, they were bringing in talent, they just couldn't get it all the way together. But was this by design? Did Tampa just sit in the cut and say, you know what, we just going to wait on the opportunity, and bam, here it is?
Well, I mean, it happened. I guess the luck of the draw. The way I look at it, man, they got to the point where they were rebuilding, and so happened that Tom Brady was available, and they had the spot for him. It's just the football gods are smiling on him. I mean, I'm not gonna say that it was by design. I hope that's not the case. But I mean, I just think it was divine intervention. You know, it was just something that it was just ordained, and it just happened. You know, I mean, I wish something would happen like that somewhere in this city or this state, something like that.
But, hey. Divine intervention. That's a new one, man. That's a first. Divine intervention, Derrico.
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, all these churches.
They did a lot of praying. They did a lot of praying down there.
Boy, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I hear you, Banks. I just feel like I said, they had a squad that was just ready. They just needed one piece. And that was Tom Brady. That was it.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Well, kudos to that squad and that front office for building that team the way they did then, because it seemed like every position they drafted, they hit. So I mean, I've been told before that you can't do that.
I don't want to say every. I don't want to say every.
No,
I don't want to say every
position. It's every position, because you look at the roster top to bottom. Look at their roster top to bottom, and tell me that they don't have a weakness. What is their weakness at? Where? What position is their weakness? There isn't
Their
one.
secondary, their secondary
Listen,
is not the
listen,
greatest. I mean, they have.
listen.
Well,
It ain't the
hold on, wait.
greatest.
Give me a second.
Hold on.
Give me a
Let me
second. Give me a
finish it
second.
up. Let me finish. Hold on, Leo. You said the secondary is not the greatest, but the pass rush is phenomenal, which helps the secondary. That's what I mean. Like even what their secondary is saying on paper, what they're doing up front, making them look better than they really are. And that's all I'm saying. It helps each other. Each position help each other. They linebacking core, they're pass rushing, they offensive line, their running backs, they receivers, they quarterback, hell, they fullback, they tight. It all of them are working hand to hand, and you can't tell me that it is a formula where you don't have to pick every good player. Well, you really don't. You don't. You're right. But when you get that one position where you don't have to worry about it no more, it's gonna make everybody else look better.
Yeah,
I.e., Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree with you, man. But like I said, it's still it takes 11. It takes 11 people to do it. And we've had this conversation. We talked about this before. We're having a couple of technical difficulties, man. But Banks, we're gonna keep this going, man. I think Derico might be having a couple of technical difficulties, and hopefully we can see if we can get him back into the conversation here. But if not, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna continue the show, Banks, if that's okay with you. Hopefully we can get Derico back in. Is that okay with you?
That's fine.